On today's episode of the Gripe Session, we are sitting down today with Mike Mullaly. Mike is a registered nurse. He's actually also a former soldier and a veteran of this country, but most importantly, Mike's side hustle is in fitness. So I hope you enjoy this because Mike is a real good guy and it's definitely worth. We have a lot of conversations today about accountability partners and things of that nature. So I really hope you enjoy today's episode.
It's Gripe Session time with your host, George Wanaka.
It's about nothing.
Discussing everything from real estate, current events, a little bit of everything, and the annoying little things that just tick you off.
You can't handle the truth.
What? You didn't know?
Here's your host, George Wanaka.
Your ass better call somebody.
What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Welcome to today's edition of the Gripe Session. I am your host. My name is George Wanaka. I am a realtor. I am an appraiser. I am a mortgage broker. I'm also a certified instructor on Staten Island. And today we are bringing you a little bit something different. We're not going to talk about real estate today. And one of the things that we're going to talk about is, my guest today is Mike Mullaly. And Mike and I met on social media a few years ago, quite frankly, when I was getting ready to go into New York Mets fantasy camp, as I've talked about on this podcast before. And one of the things that I wanted to do was, quite frankly, I didn't want to embarrass myself. I wanted to go down there. I wanted to be in shape. I wanted to be able to perform very well. And one of the things that I said that I needed to do was to get back into my workout regimen, which was P90X and P90X3. But because I don't have the time to do hour workouts, because I'm a dad, just like a lot of other people that listen to this, and I'm a parent and my time is limited, I started doing the half-hour version. And that's where I met Mike, because I posted a video of me doing it and probably hashtag P90X or Team Beachbody, and he picked up on it. We saw it, we started having communications through social media. And quite frankly, Mike and I have never met in real life, and that's the power of social media. So I wanted to bring Mike on today just to kind of give his story, let people know, what Mike's about. We have a little bit of a conversation about accountability and coaching and things of that nature, which everybody needs at some point or another. And without further ado, I give you Mike Mullaly. What's up, everybody? How we doing today? Welcome to today's edition of the Gripe Session. It's the podcast version today, and today I have on a friend that, again, I met through Instagram on social media. His name is Mike Mullaly, and I'm going to let Mike tell you, ladies and gentlemen, just who he is and kind of what he does. So, Mike, take it away, bud.
All right, George. First off, thanks for inviting me on this podcast. This is the first time I've ever been on a podcast. I've been interviewed on the radio. I've been interviewed on TV, never in the podcast form. So this is kind of cool. My name is Mike Mullaly. I live in Massachusetts. I'm married to my wife, Chris, for over 20 years. We have 3 teenage kids and 2 cats. I'm an operating room registered nurse by trade. I'm also a Team Beachbody coach. I've been doing that for 11 years. I've been in the operating room for 26 years. I spent 21 years in the United States Army, and I lived 2 years in the Middle East. I had 2 paid vacations to the Middle East back in 2007, 2008, and then pretty much all of 2011. So, cool. Yes, like George said, we met on Instagram, and here we are today.
Great. So for those of you that have been watching me and listening to me for years, and your ears haven't started bleeding yet, one of the things that some of you ladies and gentlemen might know about me is a number of years ago, I had a goal to get back into shape, right? And one of those things that I did was, and I started doing it religiously, was P90X and P90X2 and 3 and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So one of the days that I started doing it, and we all know that I had goals to go back to fantasy camp and go from there, but that's a long drawn out story, which most of you guys and girls know. But at the end of the day, one of the things that some of my friends know, and what they used to start calling me, because I would post all of this stuff about P90X and Beachbody and stuff like that, they'd start calling me Tony Franchise. So one for Tony Horton, and the other one was my softball friends would call me, my nickname is the Franchise, after an Allen Iverson, franchise. I'm supposed to be the franchise player because we're talking about practice, and it's a long drawn out story, but that was my nickname, was Tony Franchise. So it's funny when a couple of years, I'm not sure if it was this year or last year, whatever it was, when I was getting ready to go back to camp, I started doing the program again, P90X3, to make sure I was in shape, et cetera, et cetera. And I posted something on Instagram, and I probably did a P90X tag or Beachbody tag or something on that. And that's exactly how I met Mike over here. So that's Mike's other passion, for lack of a better term. Let everybody know how. What's that?
That's a great thing to call it. It's definitely a passion.
How did you get into that, Mike? How did you get into being well, first of all, what made you decide that you want to get into shape? And then how did you progress from coaching to being one of Tony Horton's guys on the videos, which most of you might not have known that, but he's in one of those videos. You could see him in one of those videos. I've seen him. I can tell you.
All right. So back in 2007, before my first tour, I was like around 250 pounds. I was 32 years old at the time, and I was getting ready to deploy, and I was completely out of shape. I had a family history of cholesterol issues, and my commander, who had already had a heart attack, was concerned about my future. So he was going to almost mandate me to get on cholesterol medication while I was deployed. And I really didn't want to do that. I didn't want to do that. So all the staff at the base, because Army food is probably not the best for you, but it's absolutely amazing. So anyway, we got a brand new chef, and he had this heart healthy section. And then my buddies and I had a goal of getting under 200 pounds. And then we started getting into that whole thing, and then the pounds started shredding. And then one time we were over there, and there was someone had a DVD. I'm like, I'm not doing a DVD workout, a home workout, no way. I'm gonna go to the gym. And we did this P90 or PX90 PWTY workout, later known would be P90X, in Iraq, and that's where my sneak peek was. Come back home, I have an addiction.
Oh, it's
and
kind of
I'm
freezing.
not afraid to talk about this, but I had severe PTSD. What's
well,
up?
Go back 1 second, because it broke up a little bit. It said you had an addiction.
Yeah, so I had an addiction to fitness.
Okay.
And I was using fitness as a coping mechanism for PTSD.
Okay.
4 months after I got home from the combat zone, I started to plateau off, and I was, just like a drug, you needed to get that fix that you got from fitness. I wasn't getting it anymore. So I saw an infomercial one day for the whole P90X thing, and I ordered the entire kit and caboodle, pull-up bar, the weights, the bands, all of it. And it came in, and it sat on my shelf for another month. So it wouldn't be until November of 2008, I cracked that baby open. And I remember saying, who is this guy, Tony Horton? Who does he think he is? So I did the first workout, and right after the first workout, there's this little thing called Ab Ripper X. I had abs. So it was only 16 minutes. Well, I think it was I couldn't hold my breath longer than a minute and 15 seconds into that torture device. And I realized that this was something that was now a challenge. So my first 2 rounds of P90X were 180 days. I didn't miss a day. Moving forward, I learned about the opportunity to become a coach in the company. And also because I was so passionate about this program, and it's been helping me with, again, cope with my PTSD, that I was using it as therapy. So I was sharing that with a lot of people in the group at my hospital, do it together. And then I learned about, the coaching opportunity. Again, it was this great secondary side hustle. At first I did it for the discount. They gave you a good discount as a coach, but then I realized you could make a good commission with it as well. So I used that as my side hustle, and met a lot of great people. I got to meet Tony a couple times, tell him my story. And then I got deployed again. I got deployed in 2011, and Tony's birthday is July 2nd. So I grabbed an American flag, and I hung it up, and I flew it in the combat zone on the day of his birthday. Folded it up neatly. We had a whole ceremony for it, saluted the flag. And then back in April 2012, he was in Connecticut doing an event. Mutual friend of ours was also working with Tony. I said, can I just get 5 minutes to talk to Tony? just to give him this flag? He's like, yeah, sure. So I had this entire speech written out. So I'm like shaking like a leaf because he's one of my mentors, and I was really excited to do this for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I gave him the flag. I started reading the paper. I was fumbling my words. I dropped the paper on the floor, and he just looked at me. He said, Mike, what are you trying to say? And I basically looked at him. I said, listen, Tony, thank you for everything, for helping me out. And then he took the flag and I had a certificate with it, and he put it in his office. And then he just heard my name. And over time, I was we were on a cruise ship for Beachbody, and he needed someone else up on stage. And he said to me, I was on day 73 of P90X3, and he's like, you think you can hang? I'm like, yes. And I was like freaking out. Get up on the ship with him on stage, and then it just the snowball effect started there. He invited me to work out with him in the gym. I had a one-on-one session with this guy. And then a couple months later, he sent me a message and asked me to audition for 22-minute hardcore. So I flew out to California for my audition that morning, and then did my audition. I flew back to Boston from LA the same day, and I earned my position in that program. And again, I got to travel with Tony, and then I was invited. My wife and I were invited to his wedding back in 2015.
That's
and
cool.
it's just been, someone who was a guy who I looked up to, became a mentor, and then became my trainer, and then became my friend. So, and that's basically, again, fitness, 12 years later, I'm still going strong and staying consistent and trying to share that passion with as many people as I can.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That's so cool. I mean, I did it. Everybody looks for fitness for a lot of different reasons, right? And one of the things is like, I'm in my office right now, but there's a picture that I have in my office. And one of the things is when I was in a leadership position, I took a picture with my dad, right? And I was young. I was maybe, 10, 15 years ago. So I was in my mid 30s, and all of a sudden I started to see a double chin. I'm looking at the picture, and I'm looking at it now, and I'm going, oh, hell no. This ain't going this way. And that was the first way. And then I went on the program. I lost a ridiculous amount of weight. I started watching what I was eating. And then again, life gets in the way, 3 kids. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab a hot dog. I'm going to grab this. It's tough to eat always right. But, I kind of do P90X now with Weight Watchers. I use like the Weight Watchers app. I watch what I eat for the most part. Although I'm very finicky, but it allows me to eat what I want to eat. Right. Knowing that, okay, I got to do this. Now, it was funny that yesterday, before I sent you a message about doing the podcast, I got back on the treadmill and said, okay, I got to get ready to get back and start doing it, because what I've been doing over the last 2 years, quite frankly, is I don't start getting ready to work out until like August. And then it's like, because I'm leading into going into camping and giving myself, some rest. But this year I'm like, no. I gotta stay with it and just continuously do it. The best part about this program, and I hate to sound like a friggin' infomercial here, because that's not what this podcast is all about. But the best part about this, somebody that used to go to the gym. And I used to go to the gym religiously for like an hour and a half. And I used to go with my wife, and I never felt any different. And worst of all, I never saw a difference. And the best part about this program, which I've told everybody, which is why I swear by it, is I felt different. I looked different. I got the pictures to prove it. I had people come up to me the first time I did the program for an hour, and I lost a ridiculous amount of weight. They asked me if I was sick because I lost so much weight. And I'm like, no, I'm not. And they go, wow, what'd you do? And I said, I did P90X. And they go, well, what are you down to? And my high school basketball playing weight was 195 pounds, and I'm 6'3". And I got down to 188 at one point. And I wanted to get to 185, but then I'm like, yeah, that might be a little bit too skinny at one point. And then it started going up. But so like I said, you said that you're in the military, and that this was also a great like coping or therapy mechanism for you too, which is again always part of it. You always need. What's that?
Oh, you're good. It just froze up for a second.
Oh, okay. So, one of the things is I always tell people everybody needs their thing, right? Like I play baseball. I know you play softball. I've seen some of your exploits on Instagram, and whether it be working out, whether it be golf, or whatever it happens to be, you got to have that one thing to help you move along your day and say, okay, I'm looking forward to going downstairs for a half an hour. And because quite frankly, I'm a father with 2 kids and getting ready to go, 1 kid in high school, 1 getting ready to go into high school, and a little one. So my schedule and my wife's schedule, we all over the place. I don't have an hour anymore to put into stuff. So, I don't like getting up early to do it. So I normally do my workouts at night, but this program even has the half hour version, which I've been doing. So I enjoy it a lot, but just to kind of go into what you've been trying to do with your fitness coaching, and where can people find you, from a fitness perspective?
All right. So with my fitness coaching, I like to, again, I'm always into recruiting. And it's not for everybody. I say, hey, listen, everyone's like, the biggest thing is like, oh, I'm not a salesperson. Well, neither am I. I'm a registered nurse and a father of 3 kids and a husband. If you have a passion for fitness, and if you have a passion to help people, which again, you don't need a college degree for that, this is the great business for you. Again, a great secondary income as well. Mm-hmm. I like to work with people, who want the help. I normally put it out there. I don't usually go up to people and say, hey, you look like you're 50 pounds overweight. Do you want to work with me? I mean, that's just not how. That's bad business.
Yes.
It's kind of a bad, tact. So basically, what I do, George, through Instagram is I show people my consistency. I show mm-hmm. people that I walk the walk and talk the talk. I show people that I drink this shake every single day. I show people that, hey, I'm going to work out at 5 o'clock in the morning, but hey, sometimes I have to work out 5 p.m. at night, or sometimes 11 o'clock at night. Yeah. But again, it's that consistency and not making the excuses. And I think that's super important.
Absolutely.
Like I just said, the best place to find me would be on right now, probably Instagram. Yes, I do have a YouTube channel. I do have Facebook. I have TikTok. I got Snapchat, but I would say the number one place to find me right now would be at Mullaly Fitness. That's MULLALY Fitness on Instagram. I do have a little link in my bio that has all sorts of forums, how to get in touch with me, whether or not you'd like to learn more about the business side of what I do, or if you'd like to learn more about the fitness side of what I do. Because mm-hmm. again, some people, they don't think they're ready to be that coach. Or sometimes, hey, some people are ready to do the business side versus, because they're already healthy and fit and they've been using our products, so they're familiar with them. Mm-hmm. If you're familiar with something, and like you said earlier, something that made you feel good, something that made you look good, it's easy to talk about it. It's the same as if you went to go see. I was like very passionate about it. I talked about it, and it was something that was really like, it was easy to talk about. So again, that was something that was just, when it goes to fitness, it goes to nutrition. If something's working for you and you're happy about it, it's so easy to talk about.
Oh, 1,000%. And the best part is one of the things that I always find is, even with side hustles like this, it's the best thing that you could potentially have is an accountability partner, exactly. Which is what I kind of refer to it as. And it's funny, this is the first time you and I are physically talking in real life and I have some of the best accountability partners that I've met that I've never met in real life, so to speak. Like, we've texted back and forth through Instagram a bunch of different times. Yeah. I have a lot of friends on Instagram in the real estate business and other businesses, and we text all the time. And that's the power of the internet nowadays, is to sit back and say, look, get yourself an accountability partner, especially in my business, in the real estate business. And like, this is a side thing that I do with the podcast and everything, and just putting more information out there and developing more content. But at the end of the day, it's more about, okay, here's this information. I can help somebody else, because nowadays it's amazing. Nobody wants to help somebody that's around them. meaning in their geographical area, like in my business, real estate, it's like, oh, if I tell everybody that, all my competition is going to do that. Well, here's the problem. No, it's like working out. Yeah. Everyone says they want abs, but they don't want to put the work into going in getting the abs, or they want to have big muscles, but they don't want to put the work into getting those muscles. It'd be great if we could just pop a pill and just go boom and be the Incredible Hulk, but that's just not reality. And it's the same thing whether you take it from a fitness perspective or whether you take it from a business perspective. It's all relative. So I appreciate you coming on, being one of my accountability partners. And, I know I have to start up again, which I was on a treadmill last night, like I was telling you earlier, for a good 45 minutes. And, it was funny. My wife and kids said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I got to get back up on the horse again." I said, a month off is a little bit more than enough at this point. So I got a half an hour as opposed to just sitting my big butt on the couch. And, to sit back and say, let's get back into shape and kind of go from there. But anyway, appreciate you coming on the podcast. I ask everybody at least one thing, that if you had a gripe about something, just something that pisses Mike off, right? What would that one thing be?
Well, there's about 10 things that are tied for first place, but okay. I'll pick one. I try to be a calm person, but I do have road rage. I have an issue with people being in front of me when I'm on the road. Like my wife always jokes about and says, "Oh no, you're in Mike Mullaly's way. Get out of his way." Well, today I was coming off the exit ramp and I see the infamous sign in the bumper right in front of me, "Student driver." And I'm like, "Please don't take a left. Please don't take a left." Well, they took a left. And I had to be somewhere 5 minutes ago. And it was like, oh boy. So, but I have a son who's in driving school right now. So I had to
do the goose fraba. I know. Yeah, I understand, because I have a daughter in driver's ed that I have to take tomorrow to her driver's ed. She said, "Dad, you want to come drive with me?" And I went, "No, no. That your mom can deal with that. That's good. I'm good where I am." So, but anyway, all right, Mike. Again, thanks for popping on. Like I said, we're gonna put your Instagram and your TikTok and everything in the show notes. So if anybody wants to get in touch with you, reach out to Mike on Instagram, on TikTok. He's got actually a funny thing. I've been watching him on TikTok, the dad of 3 kids, which is actually pretty amusing. That's pretty good. It's pretty ingenious. I was like, "Oh, can I steal this too?" Because I steal a lot of my stuff from my friends. I'm like, I could use that. Now we just became a viral sensation, because now you created your own hashtag.
Yeah. So just go with it.
So, all right. Well, Mike, thanks for popping on, and we'll definitely have you on again another time. And like I said, thanks for coming on the Gripe Session today.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
You got it, man. Take care.
Thanks for listening to the Gripe Session. Please follow us on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram.